Maybe also they always tell me I should always do.
You always done a presentation?
I've done before. She's also my proposal. I came from Nigeria.
From what?
I'm here for my training. I came from my training. I was doing a self-development this
So you joined which year?
Joined this year.
This year, last year?
This year.
And this is your last year, like 4th year. So you already have like a diploma?
Yes.
But for you, since first year, you've never had a presentation. This is your first presentation in the 4th year. Oh, interesting. So when you say good presentation, it's serious work, no joke. You cannot say, madam, draw me your computer in the course of your presentation. It doesn't work like that. If you know you're supposed to plan, if you know my presentation is going to require you to have a PowerPoint, it's going to require you to have a computer. If you don't have a computer, you're supposed to find out from your friends. Not come in class to start presenting, then in the midst of your presentation, tell me, madam, to make any computer. It doesn't work like that. It just shows that you didn't prepare. It shows lack of seriousness. Presentation is the serious. You should have stay in the class. In class, we can joke, we can class, whatever we can joke about. But when it comes to presentation, serious business.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, so that's it. If there are no questions, we wish you a very good week. Make sure we go through the act. Next time we meet, we are going to start from there. Let us be serious. Garbage in, garbage out. If we invest more in our studies, we are going to produce good food. That's it. What you invest is what you cultivate. Yeah, if you don't invest much time in your studies, how are you going to produce better food? Yeah, so let's call it a day. I know the mom was running out when you were going, madam. Then we are going to study them in the next class. Inaonekana ilivyo kwa maana imachie ima pera. Audit and assurance. According to the course outline, we had done the planning everything. So what did we do? The last topic that we learned last time. Planning. Last time we had learned about the planning and according to the course outline, which you have also there. You also have it. According to the course outline, we are supposed to go to the working papers, but because you talked about the audit risk. What is audit risk? What is audit risk? What is audit risk? According to your own understanding, that's what I'm talking about. What is audit risk? This is just for our own understanding.
I think it will be more like challenges that can be faced in an audit.
Can you give an example, if you can? Evolve. Risk. Risk. What is risk? You don't know risk. Danger. Good. That's a very good try. I like that. So, what do we mean when we are talking of risk? There are so many things when we are going to audit. We first look into them and then do the way forward. In fact, when we are talking about risk, it is something that there can be something bad happening to that. If we think about, let's say, an example, we can think about, let's say, for example, for audit risk. Maybe you have a relation. The one that you're going to audit is the relation to the most high boss in the organization. Maybe a brother. And you're there auditing him or her. So, as you're there, it means you can do it professionally. But mind you, when we are talking of audit, sometimes you can be an audit assurance of that same company being, let's say, in an internal office or a certain office just for the audit assurance. Okay? And yet, you are auditing that brother of the most high boss in the organization. Whereby, they can also say, please, we don't want him, let him go, because you are doing it professionally. So there are so many risks in connection of an auditor. So many. You can think of one also. The other thing is that you can also be bribed. That's a risk.
muntu akupa $7 million. That's again a risk. There are so many things that can make you be at risk. So why do we talk about the risk? Whenever we're planning, we should have that chance of scrutinizing the things that we're going to do or plan in the audit plan that we're doing. So audit plan to risk and exposure is very, very important when we are planning our audit. Here in the book they have said specific guidance when we are talking about audit plan to risk and exposure that provides specific guidance regarding planning and risk. So when we are planning, we should also take into account the risk that can be there. Okay? So there are so many risks that we can think about when you are an auditor. Sometimes it can be found in the, let's say, overall business objectives. You can find it there. Sometimes in other checkings that you are doing when you are planning your audit. So the attitude towards risk, again, that is another thing that we as auditors have to think about. The result of risk. Risk can be in any department where you are supposed maybe to check when you are planning your audit. So when we are doing our audit, we are supposed to have assurance that includes an assessment of risk. So we should manage the risk very well for us to plan and for us to do the right thing professionally according to auditors. This, I've talked about risk because we talked about risk and we learned about planning, and planning we always take into account the risk. So most risk models used to prioritize engagement are based on risk factors. For example, quality of the adherence to control. How are they responding to controls of the organization? There, you can sometimes find a risk. For example, if we can take an organization that says by 7:30 you're supposed to be at office. Somebody comes 9 o'clock. Those are some of the obvious things that you are going to look into. Degree of change, timing and results of last engagement. What did they do last when you are doing yours now? Because you always compare with your friends who did last. So there, what list was there and what are you going to do when you are going to plan in the next audit assurance? The impact that is there, the likelihood, materiality, asset liquidity, management competences, complicity, and employment and government relations. All these, you can sometimes look into them and then you can see that there is a risk in the activities that they are doing. Maybe we should look into the risk management, which is RM, risk management. Risk management is critical to sound governance of all organizational activities. consistent of risk management should be fully integrated into management at all levels. So, you as an auditor, you should integrate risk management in all levels. We know that management typically uses a framework to conduct the assessment and the document of the results. So, in audit and assurance, we should not forget that. And then we have another one, which is enterprise risk management. Enterprise risk management. That one was management, but this one, enterprise risk management, which is ERM. So, enterprise risk management is a common term. It has been defined as a process affected by the broad management and as applied in certain strategies across the entity. It defines events that may affect the entity and it manages risk within the risk appetite. Its ultimate purpose is to provide a reasonable assurance of achieving entity objectives. So we are saying that there are other risks that are also for the enterprise, and we are supposed to look into them, whereby it is in connection of setting of strategies across the enterprise or the entity. So the setting of strategies. What is the strategy anyway? What is the strategy? What is the strategy? Yvonne? What is the strategy? Matthew?
More like a way.
A way.
An approach.
Yes. An approach, a way of doing things. Our strategy here at the University of Lilongwe is to lecture to you, and then you should, at the end of it, write an exam. That's the strategy. Okay? Other schools, their strategy is they lecture to you online, or sometimes not online, but they will give you an exam on an open book. That's a strategy. That's the way of their doing. So that's what it means when we're talking about strategy. So when we're talking about risks, we should not forget the inherent risk and residual risk, also known as current risk. These are based on concepts like the financial, or that includes the auditors, mainly when they have the information or data for the material misstatement. When we're talking of material misstatement, that's when we're talking about the inherent or residual risk, or sometimes even called as current risk. So current risk is the risk managed within existing controls or control systems. An example can be given like this. Because we are accounts people, we have to be giving examples of accounting. Let's say, for example, there's this particular that is in the accounts revenue office, where he or she receives the revenue, and then this particular, according to the controls, they're telling him that she has to deposit the revenue within 3 days, and he doesn't. So, what are we talking about here? We are talking about the current risk that is managed within the existing control. What do? You just have to say, please, can you go back to the drawing board? What are the rules that you are supposed to follow? After 3 days. Then you say you have to start doing that within 3 days. That's why they are telling us about the current risk that is there, that it can be controlled by the same controls that are already based there. So this is the just in a nutshell, according to risks. There are so many things that we can talk about risks, but because it's not our part of the topic in the course outline, I just wanted us to have a text on the risk. You can go and read about risk. Maybe I will give you the part of the book that is chapter 2 of a certain book. Then you go and read. Otherwise, it's not part of the course outline. So just because it said about risks, that's why I had to go to that. But the topic I brought this morning is the working paper according to the course outline. So let me do this now. That's what I'm going to go out. Good. Oh. And what counts for investor for you? Yes, please. Oh, that means Granny Frank. So I'm in a class. So I'm in a Frank for 4 years school. Yes. Okay. If you hold on, I should go and give the phone to him. So we have the record and I'm in class. Yeah. You are to banana. Okay. Can you hold this? What's this? So today we are going to talk about the papers that was just for you us to appreciate and have a test on the risk, but it's the working paper. What are working papers? According to the name itself, working papers. Working papers with nothing. What do you think? Just think about that in common thinking. Working paper? Yvonne, you can't even think about it? She's okay.
I think there are people that are used in the business of the organization, daily activities.
Good, that's a good try. Yvonne? Working paper? We have started very well. Please, can you finish? Working paper. Let's see. Very much connected to us as the auditor. Working papers are very, very important to us as auditors. Working papers are the documentation that we have accumulated as auditors from the planning up to the end of the audit that we have given in a report. That's working papers. So, as we have already said about the us being, let's say, auditing another office another time, we use these papers that our friends were doing. These are the working papers. You are also going to make your own working papers because you have planned, you are going to go for audit and then write a report. That whole documentation is what is called working papers. So, working papers serve as a principal record of the procedure. Working papers. Let me maybe explain it as if we from the dictionary, we can say working papers are the documents which record has been made during the course of the audit. Audit working papers are the documentations which record has been done during the course of audit, evidence obtained during financial statements. So in short, we can say that the working papers or documents which record been done during the course of the audit. Maybe we can say evidence obtained during the financial statement. So that is what we call audit paper. Yvonne, working paper, is it fine? Gonzaga? Good. Always when we are talking about working papers, we are talking about the evidences that an auditor or an audit and assurance auditor has accumulated during his audit, from the planning to the report writing, and the evidence is there. Gathering and documenting audit evidence is a very significant component when we are talking about the audit. So the quality of auditors that depend on gathering and evaluating these documents is very important and should be an objective objective for us being the auditor. So, according to working papers, these serve a principal record of the procedure completed, evidence obtained, conclusion reached, and recommendations formulated by audit assurance officers who are assigned to engage an audit. So what are we saying? The principal record for working paper is they serve as a principal record. Working paper serve as a principal record. You can see that whenever we are trying to do an audit, we always think about the other documentation which has already been done by ourselves. So these are the working papers we are trying to talk about. So that's the principal record. Evidence obtained. Evidence obtained. There's no way you can say, I have the working papers without evidence. There's no way. How do you prove that or how have you made your conclusion about this one who you say has been stolen or there's a fraud? You give evidence. According to me, the cash book is like this. But the bank statement is like this. So they should also compare, you make them as what? An evidence for you to say, yes, money has been taken by this office. So you have to have an evidence that you have obtained. Also, you should have conclusions reached. Conclusions reached. You cannot just start something and leave it on the way, but let them understand what you are doing. You will start that I started planning that this is what I did with the entity, and then after that we started the real audit, and then after that this is the report. So conclusion list as well as recommendations formulated. Recommendation formulated. So the working papers also serve as a primary support for the audit team, the communication to the audit team. Senior management, the board of directors, and other stakeholders. So that is the principal one, and then you have the primary, which is the communication between your team, communication with the ones that you are going to audit, management, and also the directors as well as stakeholders. This is what we are talking about when we are saying the main and the main thing, and then the primary one. So how about gathering of audit evidence? How do we do it?
You said that's what primary.
The primary one is when you are talking about the communications that have been done to your support team. This is the principle, the primary. Communication. Communication to the support team. Communication to management. Communication to the directors. Then communication to the stakeholders. What do we mean when we're talking about this primary one? You are going to audit. As you are going to audit, you are supposed to meet the people that you are going to gather information about what you are going to do, let's say for the planning. You ask them questions about what they're doing for you to make an objective of your audit. After that, you make the audit itself, and then you conclude. Then the start as well as the end are supposed to interact with the management, the directors as well as the stakeholders. So that's the primary, as we said, I should go back. So gathering of audit evidence. This requires extensive interaction and communication with the auditee personnel. That's what I was saying when I was explaining about the primary one. Such interactions and communications are critical to conducting the engagement, for example, the planning of what you are going to do efficiently and effectively. It is important, therefore, for assurance auditors to be open, communicative, and collaborative. You as auditors, you are supposed to collaborate with the officer. Don't just be harsh to them. How are they going to give you information if you are harsh with them? Not only that, the communication should be open. Be free with them. For them to give you the right information, you are supposed to be free. Even myself in class, if I'm not open to you, you are not going to ask me questions. You are not going to be free asking me what you want to understand. So be open to each other. This is what we are saying, that the auditors are supposed to be open to management, to stakeholders, all those that are going to be engaged in communicating with them as well as collaborating with them is very important. So an assurance auditor must always be mindful, however, that the managers and employees from whom evidence is gathered may not adequately understand the purpose, the objective and scope of the engagement or the audit, or the manner in which the audit is going to be conducted. So what are we talking about? We are talking about the evidence can be easily accumulated when you are understanding each other, mainly by aiming at the objective or the scope of the audit that you are going to do. Moreover, some managers or employees may see the engagement as a threat to them in other ways. Think that the assurance auditors are specifically looking for things they have done wrong. Unfortunately, the threat of management or employees just errors and fraud that they always do. So you are not supposed to be a threat to them. Be good to them. Moreover, it's not something very difficult. Everybody makes an error. Okay? There is nobody that is perfect. You can make an error. So understand them that they're also human, that they can make error. Not that maybe they had an aim of stealing. For example, I can give you an example. Just the time I entered the office of the university as the account. I remember that time I did all the balance and then submitted to management. But the president saw that somewhere on one road a roll fell like that. As accounts, we can understand